Hi, I'm James Ezimoha. Welcome to Africa News, where we bring you the latest updates from across the African continent. Let's dive in. Congo court sentenced 3 Chinese nationals to 7 years in prison for illegal mining activities. Petrol tanker explosion kills at least 60 and injures dozens in Nigeria's Niger state. Egypt confirms the reopening of the Rafah border crossing to send aid into Gaza. A court in the Democratic Republic of Congo has sentenced 3 Chinese nationals to 7 years in prison for illegal activities linked to the country's artisanal mining sector. The trio, who were arrested in possession of gold bars and a large sum of money, are the first Chinese citizens to be tried under the country's recent crackdown on unlicensed mining operations.
3 Chinese citizens were found guilty of money laundering, illegal purchase, and possession of minerals and other related charges. The trial has drawn significant attention as it marks a significant step in the Congolese government's efforts to clamp down on illegal mining in the resource-rich eastern part of the country. The judge in Bukavu, South Kivu province, issued the verdict on January 15.
Dit que les prévenus Cheng Chang-Fu, Juan Lingwu et Cheng Haiyan ont commis toutes ces 5.
It states that the defendants Cheng Chang-Fu, Wan Lingwu, and Cheng Haiyan committed all 5 offences in ideal concurrence. Consequently, each of the aforementioned defendants is sentenced to a single principal criminal penalty of 7 years and the payment of a fine equivalent to $600,000 in Congolese francs. The court orders the confiscation, for the benefit of the Congolese state, of 10 gold bars weighing 15.712 kilograms, packaged in Bukavu on January 7, 2021, in tamper-proof bags of type D, identified as number 004660 by CEC, as well as the sum of $400,000 seized, based on the seizure report dated January 4, 2025.
Christian Wanduma, a lawyer representing local communities, expressed his satisfaction with the trial, calling it an educational lesson for other foreign nationals involved in illegal activities in Congo's mining regions.
This
is an educational trial that should normally serve as a wake-up call to all Chinese nationals who think they can leave China, arrive in Kitutu, Kibe, Lugushwa, Kamituga, or Mwenga, and behave as if they were in their own room without even paying the hotel fees. And that is what brings us joy.
The sentencing of the 3 men is seen as part of Congo's broader push to regain control of its valuable mineral resources and curb illegal mining activities.
At least 60 people were killed and many more injured in northern Nigeria when a petrol tanker overturned and exploded in Niger State. The Federal Safety Road Corps reports that the explosion has added to the growing toll of similar incidents in the country. The tanker accident resulted in an explosion after fuel spilled onto the road. Most of the victims were residents, according to authorities, who rushed to collect the spilled petrol before the explosion occurred. The blast follows a similar incident in Jigawa State last October, where 147 people lost their lives. Humanitarian aid is set to enter Gaza Strip as the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas takes effect. Egypt has confirmed the reopening of the Rafah border crossing, which will be primary route for delivering essential supplies into war-torn enclaves. Trucks carrying humanitarian aid have lined up at the Rafah border crossing on Egypt's side, ready to enter Gaza as part of a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. Egypt's foreign minister confirmed that the Rafah crossing will be reopened to operate delivery of supplies, including food, water, and fuel. Over 600 truckloads of aid, including 50 trucks of fuel, are expected to enter Gaza daily. A court-ordered rescue operation in South Africa has uncovered the grim scene at the Stelfontein gold mine, where 78 people have been confirmed dead and 166 survivors rescued. The miners, many of whom have been trapped underground for months, were subject to harsh conditions as food supply and water were blocked by police as part of a crackdown on illegal mining.
The rescue operation at the Stilfontein mine, southwest of Johannesburg, began on January 13, revealing the extent to the tragedy underground. Police had cut off food and water supplies to force the miners, known as Zamazamas, to leave. Many of the survivors, including some emaciated and disoriented men, were pulled from 2 kilometers below the surface, with the toll expected to rise. Despite the outrage stemming from the horrific living conditions experienced by the miners, the authorities defend the operation, insisting that the blockade of supplies was necessary to prevent criminal activity.
We are sitting at 166 alive persons that have been retrieved from underground. The number of deceased has risen. We are sitting at 78. So just for today, it's 22 alive persons that have been retrieved, 18 bodies for today only.
However, some survivors like Clement Moiletsi have a different view on the situation.
We end up eating cockroach, other people end up eating the dead body of people. I swear. I can see a big...
Miners were eating other miners, like
other miners, yeah, the corpses indeed.
Because why?
Because of there were no food. There were no food. We were struggling to eat. So at least you see this. There's something that I can eat. Even the leaves of the trees, if they were available in underground, we were going to eat them. We were eating everything that they think it was going to help us to get better in the stomach, yeah, to get us alive.
Despite the criticism, police maintained they did not prevent miners from exiting the shafts, emphasizing that providing supplies to illegal miners would have allowed for criminal activity to persist. At Stilfontein, most of the miners were from Mozambique, with others coming from Zimbabwe and Lesotho, while just 21 were South African. The rescue operation officially ended on January 16, with no further miners believed to be trapped underground.
Daniel Chapo was sworn in as Mozambique's new president on Wednesday, January 15th, following months of protests against his disputed election victory. The inauguration ceremony in Maputo was sparsely attended with a heavy security presence amid ongoing unrest. The opposition and local monitors have accused Frelimo of electoral fraud, and more than 300 people have been killed in clashes with security forces since the vote, according to reports. Despite protests, however, Frelimo denies any wrongdoing. Chapo's inauguration ceremony in Maputo was attended by only a small group of supporters, with much of the city center deserted by security forces deployed. Mozambique's new president, Daniel Chapo, has stated that the government will not review the terms of contracts with major energy companies like Total Energies and ExxonMobil, who are planning large-scale liquefied natural gas projects in the country. He addressed concerns over Total Energies' $20 billion project in Cabo Delgado, which has since been stalled due to an Islamic insurgency. While the security situation has improved, Chapo assured that Mozambique would continue its fight against insurgents. He also addressed the ongoing opposition protests, calling for dialogue to resolve the political crisis.
Neste momento a fazer investimentos, os contratos são novos.
They are currently making investments. The contracts are new. That's why for these cases there is no place for reviewing contracts, because they haven't even come into force yet in terms of operation. But we do have some old contracts which have been in place for around 20 years. Terrorism is a global phenomenon, not just in Mozambique. The global phenomenon is one that requires, on the one hand, fighting terrorism on the ground, which is happening at the moment, but the armed defense forces of Mozambique and the support of other neighboring countries, such as Tanzania, which we have a bilateral agreement with, but also Rwanda and other countries that are supporting us, including even the European Union and others. But what we are referring to, answering your question, is that we will continue to use two hybrid models, so fighting terrorism on the ground, but also continuing to look for the origin and motive of this terrorism.
A world-first stunt was completed in Cape Town on Thursday when kite surfer Lasse Walker jumped over a moving airplane. The remarkable feat was a result of a 2-year collaboration between Walker and Polish pilot Lucas Sespela.
Kite surfer Lasse Walker made history on January 16, 2025, by jumping over a moving airplane at Dolphin Beach in Cape Town. The stunt, which involved Walker soaring 15 meters, 50 feet, above the water, was a world first. The jump was carefully coordinated with Polish pilot Łukasz Czepiela, who has a history of performing extreme aviation feats. Czepiela had to maintain the plane's stability while dealing with winds of 50 kilometers per hour. Walker spoke about the uniqueness of the stunt and the preparation that went into making it possible.
No, it hasn't happened done before, and as a kite surfer I've jumped over many things, from cars, boats, land gaps, even over whales one time here in the ocean, and today I jumped over an airplane.
To achieve this feat, Walker worked over the past few years to perfect his jumps, where consistency in height and distance were crucial.
That's all we have for today on Africa News. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to A News.